You don't want to have to outspend your competitor. You want to outmarket them. And the only way you can outmarket them is by having a better presence, having a better message, speaking to the right person at the right time enough times.
The guy that's got one message is 10 times bigger than the guy that's got a different message every other day.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand.
Is your marketing humdrum? And do you feel like you're just spinning your wheels to get new prospects, or spending money like water on every tool, app, trainer, or coach with little to no results? We know why. Okay, so grab a cup of coffee. Relax for the next few minutes while we uncover these issues or the reasons for these issues and what's plaguing you and your business and keeping you from getting ahead. So we're going to talk about the 4 things you are most likely experiencing by not defining, developing, and displaying
your personal brand.
Personal brand first.
There's 4 things that we do wrong a lot of times in business. Number 1 is getting confused. Okay, getting confused. If any of you have ever woke up today and like the sun come up, you had your cup of coffee, you're sitting there, what am I gonna do today? If you've had that feeling, I don't feel like I'm gaining ground. I don't feel like I'm doing something positive today in my marketing that is going to lead to more business down the road. It is because you have not defined, developed, and displayed your brand. Because if you have that, you are going to be able to have a direction of what you need to do every day. So if you ask yourself, where should I market? If you ever say, how much should I be spending on marketing? How often should I be doing this kind of stuff? Let me first warn you, if you don't fix this, you can't calculate the cost of your own confusion and what you're going to lose by time lapse. By losing, it's a time suck if you don't know exactly why you got up today and what you need to do in your marketing.
Right. Repeat that last statement. Repeat that statement.
It's a time suck
about confusion.
Yeah. You can't calculate the cost of confusion.
Write that down.
We're literally talking about those of you who are out there and say, I just don't feel like, I feel like I'm lackluster at best. Like I'm doing the postcards and I'm doing the post and nobody's responding. I'm not getting any more likes or watches, that sort of thing. Well, you're not building on a program that leads to more business. Your brand is actually what sets that direction, guys. I can't say this enough. And when it's not clearly defined, when you're going to feel like a deer in a headlight, like really and truly frozen, like what I do now, right? It causes procrastination at best, and it causes you to do nothing at worst, right? Because you don't know what direction that you're headed. And we're not talking ethereal right here. We're talking about actual steps that you can follow that are going to fix this problem for you.
Yeah. And, part of the reason you're getting confused like that is because you've got to dial in on who those ideal customers are. You have to dial in on those things that set you apart and that attract those ideal customers.
They do.
And then you have to develop and display that, put it out there, in other words, in a way that gets those people's attention, your ideal customers' attention instantly, quickly, and gets them to think
in a fast-moving world.
Exactly. And that's the only person I should be doing business with. And that's the goal. Okay. So the number 1 thing you experience when your brand isn't defined is getting confused. All right.
Yep. And not doing nothing because you don't know which way to go. When you don't know what to do, you don't do nothing. That's what your grandmother said, right?
That's right. Yep. Don't do anything. So the second thing you experience is getting frustrated. I know none of you who have ever experienced that. Say, if you have never been frustrated, I really want to hear from you.
Yeah, I want to know your marketing plan.
And if you have been frustrated, give me a number between 1 and 10. Just chat that
12.
number. Put it in the comments. That number between 1 and 10, your
12.
frustration level at just the marketing aspect alone. Just that part alone. Okay. So if you're like most agents that we hear from, you have tried numerous marketing channels, lead generation platforms, trainers, coaches, and it seems like none of them work the way that they should. Now, the first thing that happens, guys, is you blame the platforms, the coaches and the trainers.
That's a lot.
You got to be fair about it. You have to be fair. There are a lot of fantastic trainers, coaches, apps, and tools out there.
They absolutely work. They do work.
They really do. But think about it. Their job is to teach you how to use their platforms and their systems that work, right? It's not their job to differentiate you. So imagine you and 500 others or 20 others or 8,000 others are using that same tool or app. How are you doing it differently? Are you just blending in with everybody else? Or are you doing it differently because you are different? You are unique. You know who that ideal customer is. You know what you stand for, and you've got it all put together. And people don't forget you. You're memorable, not just when you're in the room, but even after you leave the room. Okay. So keep in mind, again, it's not their job to teach you how to differentiate yourself. That's what we do.
Yeah. Sort of look at it like this. Like if you are smart enough to go get you a coach or a trainer, which we definitely believe in, then now you've separated yourself in a long way from the pack, right? From the bulk of the pack, because you're really putting your effort into growing your business, right? And you pick the good ones and they're going to help you along. But now you're in that pool of people. Every other customer they have is the same thing. So you still have to differentiate yourself even further. You got to keep dialing it in, guys. Keep dialing it in. And I'm speaking from experience. Listen, I'm a broker. I've been a broker since 1994. I've been a real estate agent since 1994. I opened up a brokerage in 2000. I've been involved in over 78,000 residential transactions, guys. I've been licensed in 33 states. I know what I'm talking about here. Nobody was more confused than this guy when I met this girl, right? And she helped me put in the blinders a little bit from trying to be everything to everybody and literally targeting people that I wanted to do business with. And that eliminated my confusion. And my company went from being a reactive company to a proactive company. The minute it became a proactive company, we stopped being frustrated. We stopped being frustrated at those marketing efforts that did not work, that were just out there, okay? And now we have targeted advertising that does work. So the third thing that you're going to run into, though, if you don't draw that line in the sand and start, is you're going to get out marketed. Because listen, even Zillow has a limited amount of marketing budget. Now, yeah, it might be $20 million a month. I don't know, but there's no such thing as a bottomless bucket, right? Unless you're Jeff Bezos and you get to go 30 years without making a profit, and then all of a sudden you make all the profit. You know what I'm saying? But it's tough. Those of us that are on the street, we're working with a certain amount of budget, right? That budget's got to be dead on. If you want to build your business like a building block, right? You no doubt experience the feeling when a competitor gets deal over deal over deal, or you wonder what their magic sauce is. Many times it's because their brand is defined, developed, and displayed, so they are attracting the people that are the best fit for their company. And there's plenty of them, guys. No matter what the best fit is for you, you've got these ideal people that you work best with, and all of your marketing needs to be targeted to them. If you don't know who that is, how can you target them, right? Over time, people will start to get to know these people who dial that in because of exactly what they're known for. I want to use an example. Up in Greenville, South Carolina, I do a lot of business in South Carolina. In Greenville, there is one real estate agent. He's got one message. He puts out billboards. All of his messaging is the exact same message all the time. He has a big competitor up there, and his is different all the time. The difference in the company's night and day. The guy that's got one message is 10 times bigger than the guy that's got a different message every other day. Okay. And when that happens, when you haven't defined that and displayed that correctly and gone towards those ideal customers, you're going to get out marketed.
Yep. And I'm going to add to that just for a second, because I spent 18 years in the media industry and I watched so many people waste a lot of money on their marketing. And I realized there's two ways to get to number one in your industry and your market. Number one, you either outspend and outdeliver, or you outmarket and outdeliver. Okay. Now, how many of you, by a show of hands, want to outspend their competitor?
I don't.
I sure don't.
I will spend 10% of what they spend and do 10 times more business.
Now, don't get me wrong. We love marketing, and we know you have to invest in marketing. So that's a given. And I wouldn't mind spending $1 million a day as long as it brought me 2.5 or 3 million in return.
That's
no
exactly
big deal, right? But the point is, you don't want to have to outspend your competitor. You want to outmarket them. And the only way you can outmarket them is by having a better presence, having a better message, speaking to the right person at the right time enough times, right?
Yep.
So that leads us into the fourth thing that happens when your brand isn't defined is you get outsold.
Outsold, man.
That's the worst of the worst. So, what this means is when you're outsold, it means you've not only missed the ability to get on people's radar, right? By being outmarketed and by not having your brand defined, but now it's too late.
Yeah.
You've already been outsold. I know that sounds brutal, but
that ship has sailed.
It has sailed. So we hear it from agents all the time. My neighbor bought a house from somebody else.
My best friend.
My best friend. Yeah. So it's actually, when we say outsold, it's actually a double entendre. Another agent sold them their services, but you may not even know how to sell yourself. So you get outsold either way.
And that is because your brand is not defined, developed, and displayed correctly. People don't know who they're doing business with. Hey, listen, I believe in ideal customers so much. My best friend used somebody else to buy their house, and I was happy about it. You know why? He ain't my ideal customer. I don't even half like to do, but I give him a kid. I dang sure don't want to do a job with him. You know what I'm saying? So listen, don't get that past you. Get that past you. You gotta define, develop, and display your brand. We can help you with that. We can show you the importance of that. And then you can be laughing at all those times that, everybody else is wailing because they didn't get that deal, or their neighbor used somebody else, or they did. We don't care at Michael Carr & Associates because we've got more business than we know what to do with, because we have it dialed in, and we want to help you dial it in so you're not outsold or outmarketed or confused or frustrated.
That's right. Okay. And you just wrapped it up for me.
I didn't mean to. I just got on a roll. I was like, I felt the spirit, and I just had to roll with it.
You can't hold him back. So those are the four things that happen when your brand is not defined, developed, and displayed. So guys, what can you do about that? We have the answer. That's right. That's right. So if you want to discuss your brand, what should they do?
Go to discussyourbrand.com.
I was testing him. He passed.
That's right. I mean, listen, and you can book a 30-minute free session with our staff. We'd love to just talk to you about it, right? If you think you have a brand, if you're hearing branding, you're hearing personal branding, and then you're going somewhere clicking about how to build your personal brand, and all they've got is a website design company. Like, if you're running into those kind of things, which I know you are, go to discussyourbrand.com. Even if you think you've got it dialed in. I was a guy that had all the elements of a brand. 7 years ago, had all the elements of a brand. I did not have a brand. I did not have a brand until I met this young lady right here. And she took those elements, added elements that she knows from all her years of experience in radio, and she made my brand. Now my brand carries us into new markets, including other states, because we have it dialed in to a science. So go to discussyourbrand.com and get started today.
Yep. And I'll leave you with one last note. I learned all this in the School of Hard Knocks. Selling vacuum cleaners door to door was my entree into branding.
Female Zig Ziglar.
Well, I sure did learn real quick that you couldn't just say, "Hey, let me in. I want to sell you a vacuum cleaner." It didn't work that way.
And if she couldn't get in, they'd call the cops when I stepped on the front step.
Well, either way, you have to have your own story, right? When you have a really good, compelling story and you're talking to the right people, it makes all the difference. So we'll leave with this. If you'd like what you've heard today, we encourage you to like it, love it, share it, and head on over to YouTube and ding, subscribe. It's at BrandFace Star. That's at BrandFace Star. So you can be the first one to know when a new video comes out. We appreciate you guys today. Hope this gives you a lot of gumption and energy to get through the rest of your week.
That's right, folks. Hey, listen, we do this because of prosperity. That's what we're seeking, right? And when we say prosperity, we're not just talking about money, because that's just a part of it. We're talking about the full 360 of an abundant life, which we really do want for every one of y'all and every one of your businesses. We know at BrandFace that prosperity favors the bold. So we say be bold, folks, especially with your brand, especially in 2021. And thank you, Ms. Tony.
Thank you. See you later. Bye-bye.
Brought to you by BrandFace, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.